All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm here with my review of the Bruce Bolt batting gloves, and I know that it's actually been a while. I put up the unboxing video a few months ago, and I spent all season using these gloves, and now I'm in the off season and I'm using them every day again. I play independent baseball and I train all off season, so I am swinging quite a bit. And before I get into the ultimate review, I want to put out a disclosure that Bruce Bolt had sent me these gloves for free, and I use them, like I said, all season. And then I actually have another pair here that I'm going to get into as well. But I want to assure you that I'm not going to let that cloud the review. I'm going to be very objective in the things that I'm telling you, because ultimately, I want the correct information out there, and I want people to make an informed decision. So this is the pair that they originally sent me, and they are the gold long cuff version. And you can see here that I used them for about a month, so they are a little bit worn out. And I'll get into why I have a second pair here. I actually purchased this pair, but I purchased it in the second month of my season. Or, yeah, I would say the second month. And I've been in the off season now for a few months as well. And you can see these are the white version. These are short cuffs here, as you can see. They're kind of the traditional strap. And then you've got the gold ones I had prior were the long cuffs where they wrap around for additional support. So I want to talk about, number one, what sets these gloves apart. And the first thing is, obviously it comes in a pouch, which is very nice. And, it feels papery, but it held up very well during the season. I just threw it in my baseball bag. I wasn't particularly trying to take care of it or anything. And, I mean, there's no tears or anything. It's in great condition, and it's very nice. It's also got this pouch here. I'll show you in this one, actually, because I also use their pine tar. And it's very convenient to just store your pine tar in this pouch. Obviously, you can put your gloves in there, too. I think that's what it's for. But getting to the gloves now, the number one thing that I realized when I used the gloves was the quality. The leather is really soft, and it's very comfortable. And in fact, when I first got it and I first put the gloves on, I genuinely felt like I had bought a luxury product. That's really the difference between these gloves and, say the Nike gloves or the Adidas gloves that you might get in the store. And the other thing with that, what comes with the, the soft leather and everything, is the durability of the gloves, is the durability of the gloves. And like I said, I used these for a month. They held up. They're in great shape. But the reason I stopped using them was because I found that with these long cuffs, it took me a while to put the gloves on and off. I found that I would kind of stumble, and it was a little time consuming. And, when you're going from the field to, let's say you're leading off the next inning, you want to get on time with the pitcher. And for me, I would go into the dugout, I would take my helmet off, I would take my cap off, put my helmet on, put my Evo shield on, and I'd put my gloves on. And by the time I would do it, the pitcher, would probably be finished his warm-ups. And I'll show you exactly how it's a bit time-consuming. Again, this is just a personal preference. It's not a con of the glove by any means. But that's actually why I switched to this pair right here. But I'll show you what I mean. So you unwrap it here, and then you put it in there, and then you have to rewrap it all the way. And this is what it looks like, okay? So before I unwrap it, and I'll show you how long that process takes, which is obviously the same thing, but you'll get an idea of just, how long it takes to put on the gloves when you go hit and then take them off when the inning is over. But the one really nice thing about these gloves is that it's very secure. Your wrist genuinely feels like it's been taped. And the other thing is that it's a thick padding here. And if you were to actually get hit on the wrist, it offers pretty solid protection. I mean, it's not, a guarantee that your wrist is going to make it out okay, but it certainly is a very big difference. So if you're somebody who wants that added support in your wrist and you want, just that added bit of protection, this is certainly a very good option. Again, I didn't like that trade-off because given that that's true, I still didn't like the fact that now to undo the gloves, right, I have to take these off like this, and then to put them in my back pocket, which is where I keep my gloves, now I have to go like this. And remember, this is just one glove. I've got two. So it was just a thing that for me was a bit tedious. It doesn't mean that it will be tedious for you, but I wanted to include that in this review. That being said, other than that, the glove is really fantastic. Now, like I said, I switched to these white ones in the middle of my season. And the durability, like I said, is very good. However, I want to point out I do have a hole in my left glove. I swing right-handed, and it's right here on the right at the bottom of my index finger. And I want to put this in perspective to show you how durable the gloves really are. I swing on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll take 150 swings. And on Tuesday and Wednesday, I take a little over 500. So in a week, I'm taking about 1,500 swings. Now, I use these gloves for about 3 months in the off season. So 1,500 swings a week is 6,000 a month, which is 18,000 swings for 3 months. That's a lot of swings, and I would bet that the majority of people watching this video will not take that many swings. And so I think the gloves will last very, very long relative to what I use them for. To keep putting that in perspective, let's say you take 100 swings Monday through Friday. Well, that's 500 swings a week, which would be 2,000 a month. And if we've established that the gloves tear around 18,000, or at least in this case that they did, it would take you 9 months to reach that mark. Hopefully my math is right. We'll see. But it would take you about 9 months to reach that mark. And that's a very long time considering the fact that historically, at least for me, I would go through pairs of Nikes. And in my opinion, I think that they are probably the least durable, they're expensive versus their durability. And so I used to spend probably $35 on Nike gloves, and they would maybe last a little over a month. So I was constantly swapping out these gloves. And with these white ones here, I believe they are, I think the short cuffs are $70. I think 70. And they have a lot of sales too. But the price that you pay, which brings me into the next subject, which is value. For the price that you pay, it's really unparalleled, the quality that you get and the durability that you get out of it. I like to think of value in two ways. Do I get what I pay for in terms of usage, and do I get what I pay for in terms of quality and performance? It's in particular when you're talking about a sports product. And in regards to the first, you certainly get what you pay for in terms of usage. Again, I only had mine for 3 months on the tour, but I take a significantly amount more of swings. You have to look at it not in terms of time, but in terms of swing. For most people, these gloves will last a very long time. In fact, I had a player who I knew use his pair for almost a whole season. In indie ball, is a long season. I mean, this guy played, I think it was 90 in his 95th game, I think the gloves tore. So they're very durable, and so I think the value is certainly there in terms of usage. In terms of performance and quality, to me, it's undeniable that the value is there. Like I said before, when you open the gloves, it really feels like a luxury product. The leather is really soft. It smells amazing when you first open it, and they last a long time. Now, as far as the performance goes, I want to talk a little bit about sizing, because that is probably the most important part of any batting gloves performance, is that you get the right size. If you go on Bruce Bolt's website, they have a hand chart where they tell you the different sizes the different sizes of gloves that will correlate to your hand size. So you measure it from the top of your middle finger to the base of your hand right there. Now, when I do that, mine is 8 inches or 20 centimeters. And I have large gloves. If you go by their website, 8 inches is actually XXL on their website. But again, I'll show you really quickly. So we've established 8 inches, and this is a large, and this fits me very well. And so I think it's very important that you get the right fit if you're going to talk about performance. So you can take a look. This is the fit, right? You can see I have maybe a little bit of room here if I pull it, but for the most part, it's really snug right around the fingers. And that's the other thing. You want something that's, conical, something that really wraps around your fingertips so that you get good precision on your bat. And again, in terms of performance, these gloves are really second to none. And I've used Adidas gloves as well. And just a quick little anecdote. When I was using these gloves for a while, I was using these gloves in season for a while. And then I ordered these gloves, and they shipped them to him pretty quickly. But for a couple games, I actually had to go back to the Adidas gloves. And I didn't realize what a big difference it was until I went back to those Adidas gloves. And those Adidas gloves felt like I was hitting with, like one of those, like the rubber gloves that doctors put on their hands. It felt very thin. It felt very fragile. It didn't feel like, a thick, soft leather like I was swinging with prior to using those Adidas gloves, for the month that I was using these Bruce Bolt gloves. So ultimately the question is, do I think these gloves are worth it? And to me, it's a resounding yes. And again, I want to reassure people that it has nothing to do with the fact that I have a good relationship with the company and that these gloves were sent for free. Again, I bought this pair. But I genuinely believe that these are the best batting gloves that I've ever owned. And I would probably not go back to, I shouldn't say probably, because at this point I would never go back to, the gloves that you get in the stores. These are leagues above those. And the other thing is, too, the customer support is unbelievable. They're very honest people, and they do a fantastic job of getting you the product quickly. Like I said, I told them that these gloves were great, but it was a bit much, kind of fumbling over, taking them on and off. And within a day or two, these gloves had arrived. So, the white ones had arrived. So, wonderful customer support and a really wonderful product that's going to last a long time. And ultimately, I certainly think that it's worth the value. I'd rather pay more money up front for a quality product than have to keep funneling out money over time for a cheap product. So I hope this review was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on the channel or on the on the video. And if you have these gloves too, let me know what your experience has, so that that'll help me out, and it'll also help other people who are maybe considering these gloves out. So that's it for this video, and I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Goodbye.